Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU. Thanks for stopping by. So today we watched the 11th spring practice, just a few more to go. Mario Cristobal spoke afterwards, along with Keyshawn Smith, Jalen Rivers, Jordan Miller, and Corey Flagg. I'll get into some things that they had to say, but first off, I want to congratulate Caesar for winning our InsideTheU Bracket Challenge for the college basketball tournament. Definitely came down to the wire, so props to Caesar and everybody who participated in that. Also, today's practice, we were only able to watch maybe about 20 minutes, 20 to 30. Usually we're getting closer to 45. So I want to go back to Tuesday practice first because there was something that stood out to me that I forgot to mention in the last video, and that's Thad Franklin at running back. He had a really good run up the middle, and he's been doing this where he's been getting some good chunk plays, and I think he's having a good spring based on some of the things I've seen. I still think Henry Parrish gives the offense a little bit more in terms of his ability to catch passes and things like that, and he's certainly been good. But I want to give props to Thad Franklin because I think today or this week, you know, he had a good run right up the middle, and the offensive line is doing a good job of kind of creating holes throughout the spring. So just a good run by Thad, again, right up the middle. I had a clear view of it too, and I definitely wanted to mention that because I left it out from last video. Okay, today's practice, one of the things that stood out was something that we didn't see. Actually found out afterwards with the interviews. That's why it's great to stick around and see what the players have to say. But Mario Cristobal stopped practice today because he didn't like some of the things that he was seeing in practice, and basically the team needed to pick it up. You know, whether it was intensity, physicality, those were two things that he talked about quite a bit after practice today. And I think it's good. It happens. This is one of those things that happens, again, especially with the new coach stepping in and trying to create his own identity with this team. So, you know, good that Cristobal did that. Hopefully the guys respond. The team will have a second spring scrimmage on Saturday. We're not able to be out there, but we'll get some comments from Coach, hopefully. You know, kind of talking about what Coach Cristobal had to say afterwards, there were a few things that stood out to me with what he had to say. I'll post the full video on the channel so you can see exactly what he had to say. But, you know, he talked about the physicality and the consistency, not quite where it needs to be, but they have made progress. And he did say, look, this is something I'm going to harp on. This is something I'm going to emphasize. It's going to be difficult. Spring practice is going to be difficult. And he admitted that. And, you know, he understands that it's an adjustment. And the players even said it too. You know, Keyshawn Smith, when you think about physicality, you definitely think about the offensive and defensive line. But Keyshawn Smith, a wide receiver, brought it up and said, you know, things are just a lot more physical, and he feels like it's a good thing. He feels like the defense needs to be more physical, as well as the offense too. So he's noticing it as a wide receiver, and I thought that was good that he brought that, he brought that up. So I think that's good because you're not talking about a position group or one specific group in particular. So the team has certainly been more physical, and I think from being out there at practice every day that we're allowed to, I noticed it too. And one of the things that stood out to me today, and I paid a lot of attention to the linebackers, so I definitely have a video on that on the channel, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss anything there. But, you know, just kind of watching a position group, and there's really not a lot of resting. They're constantly moving. They're constantly going to the next drill. They're constantly working, and the linebackers, I feel like certainly a lot of people are curious how they're going to perform in this system. You know, Kevin Steele, and one of the things that Corey Flagg mentioned, look, this is a different system. It's a two-gap system for the linebackers, so they're definitely going to have to read a lot more, and certainly we'll see how things progress there. You know, one thing that Corey said after practice was just, he was asking about Wesley Basaint, you know, talented freshman, and he just really, you know, a lot of players will say positive things about their teammates, obviously, but he just said a lot of good things, and basically Wesley's doing everything he's asked of, and working hard and listening and asking questions and taking notes and doing all the things you're supposed to do as a freshman, as any player really. But, you know, so that's good. Wesley's doing well out there. He looks good in drills. He's moving well, and we'll see how things kind of progress here on campus, and just kind of watching recruits kind of go by across my line of sight here. So just notice a few guys. I do want to mention at practice today, great seeing former players, and a wide variety today. I saw 5 guys out there. Former Hurricane Darren Smith was there. Leon Williams is a guy that I haven't seen on campus at all. I remember covering him while he was at so great to see that Leon was back on campus. Vince Woolfolk was here. Jose Borregales was kicking out, doing some workout stuff afterwards, so that was good to see. And then Greg Rousseau had that big rookie season. So a variety of guys, a variety of age groups, and I thought that was great. Just seeing former guys back out there. Certainly there's been a lot of guys throughout the spring kind of going back and think back on all the guys that have been through the program already so far. Going back to some things that we were able to watch at practice today, again, not very much, but one of the things, probably the biggest play that I saw today was Michael Redding III coming down with a contested catch over James Williams and Gilbert Frierson in coverage on the sideline. Good throw by Jake Garcia. And I thought that was great. You know, Michael Redding III is a guy that I thought he was very intriguing in fall camp before his injury. You know, making plays and doing things like that. So certainly seems to be sort of a forgotten guy in this group. You know, just a guy that hasn't gotten many game reps or had a lot of catches, but certainly he's trying to do everything he can, and a good catch today. And then, you know, Frierson, you know, kind of got beat on the very next play. Xavier Restrepo goes deep on him there. So, you know, just a tough sequence right there for Frierson. And certainly the passing game, you know, they're making plays. You know, I think that's what you'll see in the spring game, and they're just in a few more practices. So this is the 11th practice. The 15th practice will be the spring game at Pink Stadium there in Fort Lauderdale. Hearing, you know, it's been reported over 15,000 seats, tickets are already claimed, even though it's a free event. So definitely expecting a packed house there. I'm looking forward to that. I'll have some content leading up to the spring game, certainly on some guys to watch. One of the guys I'm intrigued by is Jalen Rivers. He's been out here at practice. He's been limited throughout the spring, but he's been out here lately and been real physical. And Jordan Miller complimented him. Mario Cristobal spoke very highly of Jalen, and I think he's a guy, I think without question, certainly could be Miami's best offensive lineman this season. Kind of slated in that guard spot. You know, he said he's kind of working at left and right guard throughout the spring, but you know, depends on how they want to shuffle things up. But certainly he's a guy that I think since he's got here, he's always seemed like a guy that has a bright future, and certainly he's putting in work and getting back out here. And I asked him if he plans on, or if he thinks he'll participate in the spring game, and he didn't say one way or the other, just that right now he's taking limited reps and doing everything he can there. So, you know, whether he plays or not, it's good that he's out here at practice. You know, and one of the things Jordan Miller said going against him is just like he never left, you know, that he's very physical, he's doing well, good footwork, he's good against as a run blocker and pass blocking, so doing a good job there. So good to see Jalen back out here. Some other guys are kind of working. A lot of guys were out there training today that I saw, and saw it this week too. A guy like Romello Brinson or Chase Smith, a couple guys I know many of you are excited about their futures. They were out there going through some workouts and things like that, and other guys too. I saw Keyshawn Washington was another guy, and there are about 10 guys that are injured, not fully participating, but certainly out there and doing what they can at this time. You know, kind of going back to one of the things Coach Cristobal said, another thing that he said that stood out to me, I asked him, I was curious how he's going to go with this, and some coaches, and Cristobal, we've not gotten a chance to talk to him after every practice or anything like that, so I asked him, because he said last scrimmage the defense did well, won the day. There was a couple guys I noted that did well in that, or had an article there on InsideTheU.com. But I asked him, you know, who are some guys on defense that are stepping up or that have impressed in terms of effort and consistency, physicality, some things that he's certainly looking for on the defensive side of the ball. And he started off his the answer by saying he doesn't want to single out guys and things like that, which I understand. It's kind of how he's been, but he did say some guys. He did bring up a couple guys that stood out to me. That he listed maybe 5 to 10 guys, but 2 guys that stood out to me were defensive ends, Jafari Harvey and Chance Williams. And so good to hear from those guys that they're doing well. You know, he said with Harvey, he's just a guy that's bringing a lot of effort and energy. Maybe technique-wise, he's still got some work to do, but he's certainly, Coach Cristobal likes the fact that the things he's doing out there in terms of his effort and energy, and certainly that's good to see. Harvey's been a guy that we've all been kind of wondering if he's going to take that next jump each year, each season. So maybe this will be a year that he has one of these big breakout years that we've seen from other defensive linemen at UM in recent years. So keep your eye on Harvey. He's probably a guy, if I were to think, maybe a guy to watch for in the spring. I'm going to list, the way I'm thinking of it, I want to do a video, maybe 5 guys to watch for, 5 guys that I'm interested in seeing. So Harvey might be one of those guys. We'll see how things kind of play out. So, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Again, there's some more video stuff that I'm going to post on the channel, certainly some articles on the website. Stay tuned. Again, next scrimmage, we're not able to be out there, but certainly try to get as much information on that as possible, which will be posted to the website on InsideTheU.com. So thanks again for watching. Hopefully enjoy the rest of your day and take care.